Forget gold. When crisis hits, it's salt, batteries, and toilet paper that buy your family another day. Cash won't save you when shelves are empty and power is gone, because in a collapse, barter becomes the only currency that counts. Here's something most preppers won't tell you. It's not the expensive gear that saves you when things go sideways. It's the $1 item sitting at the bottom shelf at Walmart that nobody's thinking about. The truth is simple. Those with water, salt, and medicine don't depend. They trade. A few smart buys today can buy you days of safety tomorrow. Miss that window, and you'll be the one waiting in the dark. Because the real secret of survival isn't what's in your bag, it's what's missing from everyone else's. During the March 2018 nor'easter, over 100,000 people across New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania lost power. They had generators, food, and water, but what ran out first wasn't energy or fuel. It was trash bags. With no power and nowhere to dump the waste, garbage piled up fast. The few who stocked heavy-duty bags stayed cleaner, safer, and calmer, while everyone else struggled. Because in chaos, even a roll of plastic can buy you comfort, control, or a way out. Those are the things that hold real value when the system collapses. So, let's look at the real essentials, the simple things that become currency when the system falls apart. I'm starting with the one thing you can't live without: water. When it's gone, everything else stops. You need at least 1 gallon per person per day, and a way to make more. FEMA and the Red Cross both stress it. Store 1 to 2 weeks worth of water for your home. But here's what they won't tell you. When the taps run dry, those who can make clean water hold the real power. A simple filter, a few purification tablets, or even plain bleach can turn dirty water into something that not only keeps you alive, but also becomes valuable. The kind of resource that can buy food, medicine, or trust. It becomes your new currency. But purifying it is only half the battle. You also need a way to store it. Even the cleanest water turns unsafe if it's left unprotected. Food-grade jerry cans, sealed barrels, and heavy-duty bottles keep it safe from sunlight and contamination. Rain barrels can collect hundreds of gallons straight from your roof, while smaller containers make rotation and transport easy. Once the taps stop running, every drop you can store is more than hydration. It's control. In a barter economy, even an empty container has value, and a full one can buy what cash no longer can. Once thirst is handled, hunger takes its place. You can live without power for weeks, but not without food. Every can, bag of rice, and jar of beans becomes survival itself, an investment that holds its value when the supply chain breaks. Canned meats, vegetables, soups, pasta, rice, beans, oats. The basics that stay good for years and fill more than your pantry. Buy in bulk while you still can, and rotate your stock every few months to keep it fresh. We've seen it before. During the Texas blackout of 2021, grocery shelves went empty in less than 2 days. Families who waited even a few hours found nothing left to buy. That's how fast comfort turns to crisis, and how quickly the prepared turn into the providers. Which brings us to the next truth. When the food's gone, flavor becomes morale. That's why cooking staples matter more than most people realize. Sugar, flour, oil, powdered milk. They look simple, but they're the glue that holds a collapsing world together. During World War II, people traded sugar for meat, oil for bread, and salt decided who could preserve food and who went hungry. Salt keeps food safe and buys you time. Add a little sugar, and you've got quick strength when energy runs thin. Oil, flour, and powdered milk fill the rest of the gap. Comfort, calories, and trade value you can count on. They're cheap now, but in a collapse, they'll be worth more than anything you can buy. When survival becomes routine, it's the small comforts that remind you you're still human. A single cup of warmth can feel like hope, and that feeling is worth more than most supplies. Coffee, tea, and cocoa might seem ordinary, but in a real crisis, they become their own kind of currency. A handful of coffee can buy a meal, and a few tea bags can earn trust when cash means nothing. Because in a world where value shifts overnight, small comforts hold surprising power. There's another side to survival that rarely gets the attention it deserves: hygiene and medical supplies. Most people think disease is a third world problem until their own water stops running. A single cut, a dirty surface, or spoiled food can turn into a life-threatening infection before help ever arrives. Personal hygiene is often the first thing people cut back on, and one of the biggest mistakes they make. Toothpaste, toothbrushes, and shampoo might seem ordinary now, but in a crisis, they become gold. A few extra bars of soap or bottles of sanitizer can mean the difference between staying healthy and getting sick when no doctor is coming. For women, feminine products aren't a luxury. They're a necessity that protects health, comfort, and dignity when supplies disappear. And when trade begins, these same items turn into currency. The kind everyone needs, but few thought to store. But hygiene is just the start, because when sanitation fails, disease follows. During the pandemic, shelves emptied in days, and even toilet paper became a prize people fought for. It doesn't take long for panic to spread once the shelves go bare. Diapers, wipes, and cleaning supplies may look minor, but they're what keeps sanitation working when systems fail. And in trade, these supplies rise in value fast, because when systems collapse, cleanliness becomes currency, and those who planned ahead hold the upper hand. But don't get comfortable now. Clean hands can stop infection, but without medical care, even a small wound can turn serious fast. That's where a solid first aid kit comes in. Bandages and antiseptics keep small wounds from turning into big problems. Pain relievers and basic meds do the same for your body, turning what could be an emergency into a quick recovery. In long crises, even over-the-counter medication will trade like gold, and prescription meds will be priceless. So, health keeps you standing, but survival doesn't stop there. Because once dark sets in, every step carries risk, and every sound keeps you on edge. That's when batteries become the heartbeat of survival. AA, AAA, and 9-volt cells might look small, but they keep your radio talking, your flashlight burning, and your defenses awake. Stock them deep, not just for yourself, but to trade when others run out. Because that light those batteries feed, it does more than brighten a room. It keeps danger at a distance. They cost almost nothing now, but after the grid fails, they'll be worth trading meals for. And when the batteries die, flame takes over. Lighters, matches, and ferro rods. Each spark means warmth, safety, and survival. Stock them by the dozen. Fire is life, and warmth always holds value. Mastering light and fire puts you ahead, but real mastery begins when you can repair what others throw away. Tape, glue, and tools become worth their weight in trade once the stores are gone. Duct tape might look simple, but it holds tents, shoes, and plans together when everything else falls apart. And when supplies run out, that same roll becomes more than a tool. It's a lifeline worth trading for. Even a simple sewing kit can make all the difference. Needles, thread, and patches turned ripped clothes and torn packs back into usable gear. And if you can sew, that skill alone becomes a service, one you can trade for value and trust. The same goes for tools that fit in your pocket. A sturdy knife or multi-tool is more than convenience. It's capability. Cutting rope, opening cans, fixing gear. Every small task becomes possible when others can't do it anymore. And that's why a good multi-tool trades higher than cash when systems fail. It gives people independence in a world losing control. Then, there's the kind of gear that keeps you alive when the cold moves in. Extra socks, gloves, and warm layers are cheap insurance against frostbite and misery. When temperatures drop, warmth turns into a commodity of its own. People will trade food, batteries, even fuel, just to keep their feet dry and their hands warm. Stock more than you think you'll need, because comfort becomes currency when resources disappear. And finally, don't overlook the basics that make food possible. A manual can opener sounds boring, until it's the one tool between you and a full pantry that you can't open. Pair it with durable cookware, and you've got something everyone will want when the power's gone. Cast iron pans, metal cups, and sturdy pots can outlast generations. And when others are desperate to cook over an open flame, they'll trade whatever they have left for yours. We've covered water, food, light, warmth, and repair. The small things that turn comfort into control. But supplies don't last forever. That's when survival shifts from what you've stored to what keeps you going. Fuel is what keeps your world alive when everything else stops. It cooks your food, boils your water, and keeps the cold from closing in. Propane, butane, firewood, and charcoal. They're cheap now, but vanish the moment panic hits. A few canisters or a stack of wood can trade for meals, tools, or shelter when energy becomes the new currency. The ones who stock it early won't just stay warm, they'll stay in control. Then there's one of humanity's oldest trade goods, alcohol. Small bottles of whiskey, vodka, or rum last forever and fit in any pack. They're more than morale. They double as medicine, disinfectant, or even lamp fuel when supplies dry up. People will always barter for a drink, but they'll trade even more when it keeps them alive. A handful of those tiny bottles now could buy you food, safety, or goodwill later. And don't overlook cigarettes. Even for non-smokers, they're one of the strongest trade items in any collapse. They calm nerves, ease stress, and buy cooperation when fear runs high. A small comfort that holds real value when tension rules the streets. Comfort trades buy you time, but the smartest ones build the future. Because what's the one thing you can trade, plant, and multiply at the same time? Seeds. The only currency that grows back stronger. Seeds are life, and in a long crisis, they become the foundation of trade. Non-hybrid vegetables can feed your family and restore what's lost. Those who can grow food hold control, and those who store seeds before the rush will own a resource that never runs out. In a barter economy, a single packet of heirloom seeds can trade higher than gold, because gold can't grow a garden. And when your garden starts to grow, that's when true independence begins, and knowledge takes over. Because the most powerful thing you store doesn't come in a can or in a bottle. It's information. Books on survival, first aid, and food preservation don't need power, and the skills they teach outlast any tool. In every collapse, those who read before the fall are the ones who rebuild after it. A single book on herbal medicine can replace an entire pharmacy when supplies are gone. A few pages on water purification or shelter building can turn panic into calm. Knowledge weighs nothing, but it carries more value than any gear in your bag. Even maps, the paper kind, become priceless once GPS goes silent. Most people can't navigate without a screen anymore. It's reality on paper, and in a blackout, that's power. A good map can lead you to water, shelter, or a way out when roads are blocked and cell towers are gone. It can help you mark safe zones, find routes others miss, and keep your bearings when the sky is dark and your compass is failing. In the right hands, it's more than a tool, it's freedom. That's why old atlases, regional road maps, and even printed city layouts belong in every prepper's kit. They're cheap, lightweight, and timeless. And in a collapse, they turn information into direction, and direction into survival. When the noise fades and the systems fail, the real preppers don't just survive, they rebuild what comes next. Because survival starts long before the crisis ever hits. If you found this useful, like, share, and subscribe for more fact-based prepping strategies. Every click helps this channel grow and keeps real preparedness content alive. Your support is what drives us to make more videos like this. So, don't hesitate to share your thoughts in the comments below. Your feedback helps us build the content you want to see next.